Imagine you just launched a new startup or you have a project that is about to take off. Suddenly, you realize that you are generating more data than you had even expected. You are generating data in the form of customer actions, app events, transactions, logs, and so much more. Now, let's do a small experiment. I want you to think about your business or your project. Think about all the different kinds of data that you are generating from all sorts of sources. It might be marketing campaigns, website analytics, user feedback, and so much more. Now, ask yourself this question. How long would it take for you to analyze all of this data? How long would it take for you to clean, merge all of this data just to get one simple answer out of your database? Now, if you are like most teams, then it would take you probably nights or hours of your time. And as your data grows, you would run into problems with data volume, with the variety of data that is being generated, and also the speed at which this data is being generated. It is what experts call the three V's of big data. Now, what if I told you that there is a better way to deal with this piling of huge data sources? Yes, there is a better way. And that better way is ClickHouse. Now, ClickHouse isn't your typical database. It is an OLAP database which is typically explicitly built to handle huge loads of data in very less time, in milliseconds. Yes, you did hear that right. You can store and analyze petabytes of data in just seconds, not nights, not hours, but seconds. So, what makes ClickHouse so very different and so very unique from other databases? Let's have a look. So, when I say ClickHouse, I want you to think of three important things. The first one is columnar storage. This means ClickHouse stores your data in the form of columns instead of rows. Let me give you a practical demonstration of this. Let's say I have this very simple user table with me, and there are three fields: ID, name, and age. And these are all the values that I have in this table. Now, in a traditional row-based database, it would store my values somewhat in this format. We would have all the row 1 values, all the row 2, 3, and 4 values stored in this sort of a format. Now, what happens here is that even when you query one single column, let's say you want to just query the name column, the database engine typically reads the entire row from the disk because rows are stored together. Now loads this entire row onto the RAM. Even if you're only going to use this one name field, it loads the entire row onto the RAM, discards all the unused columns later, which is extremely inefficient. So it's potentially wasting a lot of disk input output, RAM, and CPU cycles. But this is not the case with ClickHouse. ClickHouse stores your data in column format, which means it reads only the column you ask it to read, and it loads that particular column from the disk to the RAM. This means there is very less time spent scanning the disk, less memory used, and also extremely fast results. And this comes in very, very handy, especially when you're dealing with millions or even billions of rows. This is how ClickHouse's columnar storage is so much more better because it only reads those columns which are required to be read, which makes queries dramatically faster and especially fast for analytical workloads. The second important thing is massive parallel processing. Now, ClickHouse runs your data on multiple CPU cores. This makes running your query extremely fast. In fact, it makes it lightning blazing fast. The third important thing is real-time analytics. This means you can run complex reports and dashboards all off of fresh data, and you do not have to wait for batches or any slow exports of any sorts. Now, if all of this seems interesting to you, what are you waiting for? Let's dive in and jump in to the first module of learning ClickHouse, which is Introduction and Setup.